So guys, today I'm going to tell you a little story, and if you are a trader or if you want to become a trader at some point of time in your life, then this story has some important lesson, has important wisdom that will help you in your trading journey. So please pay attention. So once upon a time, there was a student who wanted to learn the meaning of life. So he just kept looking all over the place, and after several years of searching, he finally came to know about a teacher in a Gurukul very far away where people said that he might be able to help. So with all these hopes, this man went to the Gurukul and asked the Guru that I have been looking for a real teacher throughout my life and I have found you and I want to be your student. So at first the master said, no, I don't want to take you. But the student was very adamant. So after several requests, the master said, okay, all right, okay. I will take you as my student, but there is only one simple test that you have to take. So now the student was very eager. He said, of course, I will do whatever you want. I'm willing to do anything. You just tell me what you want me to do. So the master said, okay, come to the Gurukul tomorrow morning. Stay with me throughout the day. Watch how the life in Gurukul is. And you will have complete freedom to explore, do whatever you like, go wherever you want. But there is only one condition. And the condition is that you have to be quiet, right? You cannot talk. That is my only condition. So this guy was of course very surprised because he thought that the teacher will ask him to do something very hard, very impossible to do. And all he had to do right now was just stay quiet, and that's so easy, right? So of course he agreed. And the next day he showed up bright and early and the day started perfectly fine. The rituals of the Gurukul were normal. Everyone was just minding their own business, learning, attending the classes, doing their regular stuff. So everything was going fine. So half of the day passed and everything was going fine. And this guy couldn't believe how easily everything was going, right? So, but he just kept reminding himself that, okay, just don't talk. I just have to stay quiet and the day will be over soon and everything will be fine. Anyway, after the lunch, so they both went to a nearby well. And when they arrived there, the master dropped the bucket in the well, dipped the bucket in the water and pulled it back up. But by the time the bucket came back up, it was empty. So as it turns out, the bucket had many holes in it. So by the time the bucket came back up, the water had completely drained through the bucket through these holes. Now, of course, the student was watching the whole thing. He was kind of surprised, what exactly is going on. But, he just said, okay, I just have to be quiet, not say anything. And I'm sure the master knows what he's doing. So he just stayed quiet. But what the master did next was more surprising because the master dropped the bucket again in the well and again pulled it back up. And of course, by the time it came back up, it was empty again. And this time to this guy, it felt very weird, right? I mean, see, okay, first time, maybe the master did not know that the bucket had holes in it. But after knowing that the bucket had holes in it, it doesn't make any sense to drop the bucket again, right? I mean, what's the point? But he said, you know what, that's fine. I will not say anything. You just have to stay quiet. That's all I have to do. So he just kept quiet. Now the master did the same thing again and again and again and again. And every time the master was throwing the bucket down and pulling it back up, this young man was getting more and more restless because he started to question whether this guy is even capable, even qualified to be my teacher. I mean, if a guy is not able to figure out that the bucket has holes in it, it cannot retain any water, how smart can he really be, right? So the next time the master dropped the bucket and pulled it back up, this young man couldn't control himself and said, sir, please stop. I mean, stop it. You have been doing this for past half an hour. And with all due respect, are you blind? Can you not see that the bucket has holes in it? Sir, how will you ever get water from this bucket? All we are doing here is just wasting our time. Now, the moment he said this, the master stopped. He smiled and he said, what makes you think that I wanted to draw water from the well? Don't you think that I know that the bucket has holes in it? But just like this bucket has holes in it, your trust has holes in it too, right? All I asked you to do today is to stay quiet, but all it took was just me dropping this bucket 4 to 5 times and you started questioning my intelligence, you started questioning my experience, you started questioning my wisdom, because what I was doing was I was not drawing water. I did not want to draw water. I wanted to test your faith, because if you cannot trust the person that you want to learn from, what do you think you will ever learn from them? So what is the moral of the story? Should we blindly trust our teachers, however crazy that they are sounding or they are acting? Of course not, right? We need to trust our teachers, but at the same time, we have to verify that they are capable of teaching the subjects that they are supposed to teach. So for example, for my son, let's say I'm looking for a maths teacher. I want my son to pay attention to that teacher, but at the same time, I want to verify that the teacher is capable in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, to be able to teach that subject matter. So this skepticism is healthy when it comes to most of the walks of life. But there are certain areas in life where we don't know how to even assess the wisdom, the experience, the knowledge of the teacher, right? So in this particular case, in this particular story, the student wanted to learn the meaning of life, right? So how does the student know whether the teacher is capable of teaching him the meaning of life? Is there any diploma? Is there any degree? Is there any college where someone has to go to learn and then teach somebody else? No, right? So when it comes to these kind of areas, we of course have to do our due diligence. But at some point of time, if you really want to learn what you're supposed to learn, you have to make a leap of faith, right? So you have to trust your teacher. You have to have faith in them that yes, I believe in you and you please teach me what I'm here to learn. Because if we don't have that complete trust, if we don't have that faith in our teacher, we will always have doubts, right? And doubts are nothing but the holes in that bucket which will stop us from retaining that knowledge that we are supposed to get from our teacher. So this has exactly been my experience with trading as well, right? So I believe that the best teacher that we can have in the stock market is the market itself, right? So I am the student. I came to the stock market to learn, and the only way I can learn from this market, I can retain the wisdom and the knowledge that the market is giving me, is to bring a bucket. And this right here is my bucket, right? This is my mind. And the only way I can retain anything in this bucket is by making sure that the bucket doesn't have any holes. And what are holes? Doubts, right? So the moment I start doubting the market, that is the moment I start creating holes in this bucket, and that is the first step of losing the knowledge, losing the experience and possible gains that I can make from the market. Because it is my firm belief that I don't have the intellect, I don't have the depth of understanding, I don't have the experience to know why the stock market does what it does, right? Sometimes the market just keeps going higher and higher and higher. I mean, that's what we have seen from last couple of years. And I don't know how far it can go. And sometimes the market just comes down and down and down and down, and we don't know how far the market can go, right? So just like the teacher who dipped the bucket 3 times and 4 times, the student had no idea why the teacher was doing it. But the only way the student could have gained was by staying quiet. In the same way, if the market is going up, my only job is to, first of all, stay quiet, right? Watch what the market is doing and follow, right? Quiet, watch and follow. This is the key, right? If you want to learn from the market, if you want to learn trading from the market, you basically have to stay quiet. You have to remove all the doubts from your mind. You have to stop questioning what the market is doing, because that is exactly what we do both consciously and subconsciously, right? So people keep asking questions. Okay, the market has been going up so much, at some point it is going to fall. So they start going against the market, right? Similarly, last year we saw when the market was coming down, people were just taking long positions against the market, or some stock falls down 15% and 20%, our instinct is to go and buy it. The moment we do anything like that, even consciously or subconsciously, what we are doing is we are not listening to the market. And the way the market talks to us is through price, right? So in Gujarati, there is a saying called Bhav Bhagwan Che, means price is God. So when the price is moving with conviction, either on the upside or on the downside, our job is to just listen and follow. That's all we have to do. Just listen and follow. So, and again, if you are looking for any empirical evidence of what I'm saying, go ahead and check out any successful trader out there from a long-term perspective. Anybody who succeeded in this market only succeeded by following the trend, right? So why do you think that most of the algos that are out there today, they are trend chasers? They are trying to chase a trend rather than going against the trend. There are of course mean reversal trades also, but the success of chasing the market or going with the market is much higher as compared to going against the market, right? So guys, I know that this is a little abstract topic, and I see the market from a little spiritual point of view, because I believe that the market is supreme and this is a force of nature, right? Market is a force of nature. Nobody knows what the market does and why it does it. People understand bits and pieces of it at some point of time in future, But when things are happening, nobody really knows with complete certainty what is going on and why. Right? So that is why I wanted to share with you guys this wisdom, because this wisdom has really helped me a lot on all the time frames, on positional basis, on swing basis, on a intraday basis. Every time I'm going with the market, I'm listening to the market, I'm staying quiet, I do well, or at least I incur a minimum loss in case I'm wrong. But every time I messed with the market, I started to go against it, I tried to be over smart, that is when I got punished, right? So that is what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you will take this learning, take this philosophy, bring that to your trading journey and hopefully benefit from it.